Let me ask you a question. Let's say in some strange universe very far away from here, then Spirit Halloween were to make a movie, what would it be about? The invasion of the Uncle Charlie dolls? Or perhaps a deep-seated drama about why death row is being executed? Well, I don't think we even have to really think about that anymore, or think about what they would do, since it has officially been revealed that Spirit Halloween is making a movie. And I know, this is some massive news, but don't get your hopes up too high because there's a lot of speculation going on. But in today's video, I'll try to clear up some of the fog and do a deep dive into what this movie will be about and all the little lore and story tidbits we can get. And what even is this project? Is it going to be a feature film shown in actual theaters, or is this just a small straight-to-DVD or straight-to-streaming film? In today's video, I'm going to try to answer that. So I guess without any more hesitation, let's jump straight into the Spirit Halloween movie. How's it going, everybody? I'm finally back making another video. I hope everyone is doing great on this fine December afternoon, or whenever you're watching this, really. But I have been gone for quite a long time. I think I'll get into that later in the video, but really, I don't want to keep you waiting any longer. Let's jump right into what the Spirit Halloween movie is all about. So a few haunters, I'm pretty sure one in particular being Hauntzilla or Colton, I'll link him in the description, but he found an article about a Spirit Halloween movie being made. Now, first, probably he thought that this is a complete BS, this probably has nothing to do with it, probably something completely unseparate from the actual Spirit Halloween company, but no, this is actually 100% a real thing that is happening. Now, that sounds insane, I know, but let me try to explain it. So, there's been two articles that have been found. I found the third one that was linked on another article, but there really isn't anything there besides like two photos of a truck, which doesn't even have to anything to do with Spirit Halloween, so I won't be talking about that in this video, but I'll be sure to leave these articles in the description below, but I'll be reading through them all here, and I'll be taking a very big deep dive into these articles in this video. But anyways, basically what these articles are is they are basically announcing a Spirit Halloween movie that is being in the works. We have a few photos, which you've probably seen in the thumbnail. I'll be sure to throw them up a little bit later in the video. But it is insane to think that we are actually getting an official Spirit Halloween movie. Now, as I said in the intro, we're not sure really what this fully is yet, but I'm going to be trying to figure that out in today's video. So I guess without any more hesitation, we'll jump into the first article, which is basically a breakdown of like how this journalist basically found them filming this movie, and he asked a few questions, and we got a pretty good plot synopsis here. So that will be the first thing I read. And then after that, there's another article that has basically a casting call for 3 or 4 different characters, which gives us a lot of insight into what the story will be here. And yeah, so without any more hesitation, let's really jump straight into the first article, and I'll read you the plot synopsis right now. Alright, so here we come to the first article, and here's the plot synopsis here. This article was posted to Hometown Headlines, which is basically a local news website, I guess, where the movie is actually being filmed, which is Rome, Georgia. Unfortunately, not Rome, Italy. I know it would be awesome to see Whack-A-Mole fight against the gladiators, but we're not getting that, unfortunately. But anyways, this is Rome, Georgia's little news website, I guess, and a local journalist went and took a look at this filming location, and apparently this was posted on December 5th, so only a few days ago, which is crazy. But anyways, here we have it. Let's read the plot synopsis. Storyline. When a pop-up Halloween store opens in a deserted strip mall, 3 middle school friends, Jake, Carson, and Beau, decide to spend their Halloween night locked inside. But when an evil spirit targets the kids along with Carson's older sister, Kate, the object of Jake's longtime crush, they are stalked by horrible animatronic creatures that come to life, turning their night of fun into a wacky night of survival that leverages their combined ingenuity and tests their friendship to the max. Unless they can defeat the spirit trapped inside before midnight, it will possess one of them for all eternity. So there you have it. There is the plot synopsis. Now there's another article here on Backstage.com, which is more of like a casting call, which goes very in-depth into these characters' backstories, which will give us a lot more about the plot. So I'll get into that later. But anyways, let me give my thoughts on the storyline and what I think of it, and is this the right plot to go or right way to go about making a Spirit Halloween movie? The answer is absolutely yes, in my opinion. So, from what it seems like here, this is going to be another FNAF knockoff, similar to the Banana Splits movie and Willy's Wonderland. But in all truthfulness, I have no problem with that. Willy's Wonderland was one of my favorite movies of 2021, and I thought it was a phenomenal movie. It was a fun, goofy time, and that's what this movie seems like as well. I don't think they're going to be playing too much into the animatronics actually being animatronics. I think the evil spirit here is going to be turning the animatronics in the store to actual living monsters, which is going to be so awesome. Imagine seeing Barnyard Butcher ripping somebody's throat out, and let's say Wacky Mole bashing somebody over the head with a hammer. Well, I doubt we're going to see that, because it seems like more of a very tame little horror movie here. I doubt any characters are actually going to be dying, but I could be wrong about that. But anyways, I think this sounds like such a fun movie, and I'm just really excited to see the final product here, if they ever get around to actually finishing and making it, which it seems like they are. But anyways, I think this is going to be really awesome, and I'm honestly happy they're going with the animatronics being the main villains of the movie here. Having some generic monster is just really stupid in my opinion, which I feel like that's what they would have done, but having the actual animatronic characters we all love so much actually be the villains here, actually be the antagonists, is such a smart idea, and I cannot wait to see it fully play out in the movie. But anyways, that's my little thoughts on this little synopsis here. Let's read into each of the characters a lot more and figure out really what's going on in this movie. So to find out a little bit more about each character in this movie and some more stuff going on with the story here, this brings us to a website called Backstage.com. This is basically where studios, I guess, can put up job listings for different characters in the movie, basically a casting call. So that's how we find out more about the characters here. So there is some stuff in here like talking about what the person needs to be, like how old they must be in order to take the role. So this is more of a casting call, but there is a lot of story detail for each character here, which is very nice. So this gives us another very, very good look into the story. So our first character here is Jake. So Jake is male, he's 12 years old, and he is intelligent, emotional, and overthinks everything. So he seems to be the main character, but let me read his whole synopsis right now. Jake, male, 12 years old, lives for Halloween, monster movies, ghost stories, etc. Jake's primary hang-up in everything is accepting the recent death of his father. He's a Halloween junkie, and a lot of those traditions are tied directly to memories with his dad, which is why he doesn't want to give them up. Jake seems to be stuck in the past and unable to accept his new stepfather and stepsister, even though they're trying their best to bond with him and the family. Jake's upset when his two best friends, Carson and Beau, tell him that they are too old to join him for trick-or-treating this year. However, the guys agree to spend the night in a Halloween store. When the trio are stuck in the store along with Kate, Carson's older sister, and Jake's secret crush, they soon learn that a spirit exists as they are stalked by an uneasy, trapped spirit who needs to possess one of them by midnight in order to be free. When Kate falls prey to the spirit, Jake must conquer his greatest fear in order to rescue her from her grim fate. But time is running out and the odds are not in his favor. That is Jake's character right there. There's a little character synopsis, and it gives us a lot more about the story and a lot of story details that weren't revealed in the story synopsis. But anyways, here we have it, some more of the plot. So before I talk about Jake's character, let me talk about the new plot details given. It seems the spirit is trapped inside the Spirit Halloween store and needs to possess one of the four people trapped inside in order to escape. So it isn't necessary that the spirit is evil. Maybe it is just trying to escape since it's been stuck in the store for who knows how long. So maybe they're gonna try to make up, and maybe both parties will end up coming out fine, which I kind of feel like is gonna end up happening because the spirit doesn't seem to be evil. Maybe the spirit will be able to move on after they figure out everything going on in the movie. So it seems like a pretty predictable movie, but I could be wrong, and I'm sure there's going to be a lot of things thrown in that really change it up. But anyways, a little bit about Jake. So we also learn a lot about his character and his recent death of his dad, which is kind of sad, of course it is, but it's definitely a big character point, and I'm sure it's going to come up a lot through the movie. It's going to be a very important part of his character, and it literally says that's why he loves Halloween so much. So his dad's passing is definitely going to be a tough part of this character's life, and it is going to add a lot to him, and is definitely going to be essential to the plot as we go on through the movie. Anyways, we learn about his relationship with Carson and Beau, and they're apparently best friends, and they're too old to join him for trick-or-treating, but this is when they want to spend the night in the Halloween store, which was probably a mistake. And also, Kate, Jake's crush, there is character synopsises on all of these, so we'll get into each character later. But I still think it's really interesting with how much is being revealed in these little character synopsises. But that's basically it for Jake. He seems like he'll be taking the main role here, and with how much is given about his character, I'm kind of feeling this is going to be a feature-length movie, because I doubt they could figure all this plot and all this character into a little short film. So I'm kind of feeling this movie's probably going to be around an hour and a half long, which is pretty good. I don't know if it'll be longer, but it's definitely going to be a feature-length film with how much of this character, with how much backstory is given to each character here. But anyways, that's it for Jake. He seems like he'll be the main lead in the story. As it says a lead, so I'm not sure what that means, but it seems like he will be the main character. Anyways, let's hop on to our next character, being Kate. So the next character here is Kate. It says the person playing her has to be 15 to 29 years old. Obviously, that's not going to be how old she is in the story. As it says here, she is going to be 15 to 17 years old. They may not give her age exactly, but she's going to be in that age range. Anyway, here we go with her character synopsis. Lively, confident, attractive, and athletic, but also pragmatic and tough. She's the older sister of Carson, Jake's best friend. Jake has had a crush on her for quite some time, but she is older and way out of his league. When Kate is told to bring Carson's phone to him, she tracks her brother and her friends at the spooky Halloween pop-up store, where the horror awaits. Trapped inside with Jake and the other guys, she proves courageous and resourceful. Her gymnast abilities definitely come in handy. General athleticism is a plus. However, when the angry spirit possesses her body, she turns into an all-powerful sorceress of rampage. It is only Jake who can save her. If only he can conquer his greatest fear before the clock runs out. So there you have it for Kate. So obviously it gives us some more character details here, how she is Carson's older sister, and Carson is Jake's best friend, and how she is a gymnast, and that will definitely be another big plot point of this character. That'll definitely play into each personality here, how she can use her skills to maybe help them escape. It also tells us how she gets wound up with being inside the store, because it's kind of obvious she wouldn't just go with them. She'd probably refuse to. But she has to deliver her brother's phone to him, so he'll be safe, and she ends up getting stuck inside with them as well. So this is still a pretty interesting thing, and it also says she's the one that the spirit possesses. Her being the most powerful of the group here, it obviously is going to make things worse, and it says she turns into an all-powerful sorceress on a rampage. So she's definitely going to have some powers that will probably make things a lot harder for Jake to save her. And it also says only Jake can save her, which is another interesting plot point. Maybe the other friends can't. Maybe he is special for some reason. That could be an interesting thing. But anyways, that is pretty much it for Kate. Overall, it seems like Kate will definitely be the leader of the group once things start to go bad. But of course, very soon on, she gets possessed by this spirit, and Jake can only save her. So I think that's a pretty interesting plot detail right there. But anyways, that's it for Kate. So let's move on to our next character. The next character we have is Carson, who's male and 13 years old. So let's read his character synopsis. Again, he is Kate's younger brother, but let's get started. He's the scrappy one, slightly edgier and ready to grow up and be a man. Has a chip on his shoulder and the need to seem tough. Comes from a blue-collar family, and his dad is not in the picture. Carson and Kate are at their odds because they are brother and sister, but the fact that they both have been through some family hardship together strengthens their bond later in the story. Carson, Jake, and Beau have grown up together as close friends, but he's the first one to understand that people change as they get older. To much of Jake's dismay, Carson thinks he's too old to go trick-or-treating this year. However, he does join Jake and their other friend, Beau, in spending the night in a creepy Halloween pop-up store. Once trapped inside, the boys realize that they're being stalked by some very spooky entities and must figure out a way to escape by midnight. And then it just goes into the story. But here it says one of them will be possessed forever by an uneasy spirit who needs to sacrifice in order to be free. So that's another important plot point right there. So here is Carson. So he will seem to be another member of the trio of boys that are stuck in this store. So I'm sure he'll add some important character plots to the movie. I feel like Kate and Jake will probably be the two that get the most screen time and the most character development. But I feel like Carson's relationship with his sister will definitely come into play throughout the film. So that's another interesting thing here. And it says the spirit needs to sacrifice in order to escape. Again, I feel like by the end of the movie, both parties will be able to be freed from the store, which it's honestly kind of nice. The spirit isn't necessarily evil, it just wants to escape. So that should add another interesting thing to the movie. But anyways, that is it for Carson. So now let's take a look at our final character synopsis, being Beau. So here is our final character, Beau. He is the innocent character of the movie, a lovable nerd and science freak with photographic memory. He prefers to keep peace among his friends. He tells corny jokes, Through the course of this film, he is forced to take charge and get off the sidelines to survive. He is braver than he realizes and has a great protective instincts. A sweet guy, he doesn't want to hurt Jake's feelings, but he's really not into trick-or-treating anymore, and he's also not into spending the night in a creepy pop-up store, but under the pressure from the guys, he reluctantly agrees. Beau soon regrets that decision as the three friends are trapped and stalked by terrifying animatronic creatures that come to life. However, during the ordeal, Beau finds the backbone that he never knew he had and battles the supernatural creatures with newfound courage. So that is Beau. He seems to be the token nerd of the story. I'm sure his science knowledge and his photographic memory will definitely play into the plot a little bit here, but I don't know by how much. Overall, he seems to be just the generic nerd type of character, but I feel like him throwing somebody like this into a situation like this is not really seen too much, so I think it's going to be pretty cool to see how he reacts to this. And it's also cool that we get a little bit of character progression here, how he finds out that he has strength and courage he never knew he had. So that's some pretty cool character development throughout the story, and I'm sure that will be his arc throughout the story. So that is it for all the characters here. Again, all the characters' names are Jake, Kate, Carson, and Beau, and I feel like it's just going to be a very interesting group of characters to see how they interact. I say the most generic kind of seems to be Carson at the moment. He really doesn't have too much except he just wants to grow up and be a man already, and he always feels like he has to be the tough one. But I don't know. I'm sure everything will play in very interestingly throughout the story, and having 3 or 4 characters like this being thrown into this kind of situation, it seems very interesting. So that is really it for all the plot details we can get so far. So now let's talk about some of the behind-the-scenes stuff that's going on with this movie and some interesting stuff that I have found about it. Alright, so the first bit of behind-the-scenes stuff we have here is the production company making this film. The company is called Hideout Pictures. Now, I've never heard of them before, and from what I can assume, they are a pretty low-budget movie studio, so they'll be making this movie. I really have no problem with that. I haven't seen anything they've done, so I really can't say anything about them, but you're seeing their logo right now on screen. So, yeah, pretty interesting that we already know what company is making this, but just, if it really does matter to you, the company making this movie is Hideout Pictures. It doesn't really matter to me, but it's just some good information to know, since if they are going to say something about the movie, it'll first come from them, so we will know where to go to get information on this movie. So our next bit of behind-the-scenes information here is actually really exciting. It's only a rumor at this point, but it's possible that Christopher Lloyd, yes, the Christopher Lloyd who plays Doc in Back to the Future, is somehow involved with this product, which is extremely interesting to me and very exciting. Even though it is still only a rumor at this point, having a big-name actor like this tied to this small project is really saying something. So it's very interesting to hear that there's a big possibility, or small, we don't really know yet, but there is a possibility that Christopher Lloyd could be a part of this project in some way, which I think is really cool. I mean, he hasn't really been in much lately except for those new Rick and Morty bumpers that they put on Adult Swim, but still, I think it is really interesting to hear that somehow, in some way, Christopher Lloyd will be a part of this project. It's still big maybe, but it is possible. So that is pretty much it for all the other behind-the-scenes stuff I could gather. There really isn't much else that interesting, except for the fact that they might still be filming this at the Rome, Georgia location. It is possible that they are still filming it. We don't know. It said it started, I believe, on November 14th and it will last 20 days. Obviously, that's long past now. But another company working on this movie said that they are still filming it until December 20th. So if you live in the Rome area, go check out this location because you may be able to find some more photos and some more behind-the-scenes goodies for us. But anyways, that's going to be it. So I guess let's cut to the outro and I'll give my final opinions on this Spirit Halloween movie. Well, everybody, that's going to do it for my deep dive into the Spirit Halloween movie. This is something I never thought I would be saying. Spirit Halloween making an official movie. It's crazy to me, and I'm sure it's crazy to many of you, but it is nonetheless very exciting. My best guess for when we'll be seeing a trailer for this movie is probably sometime later next year, if not like in October, but I could be wrong about that. When sneak peek season starts, we could maybe get a trailer. So my best guess is probably mid to late of next year. Definitely not anytime soon. But any more news that breaks on this movie, you know for 100% fact, I will be covering it on my channel. I love horror movies, and the fact that Spirit Halloween is making a horror movie is so exciting to me, and I cannot wait to see it. So let me know what everybody thinks of this movie in the comments below. I'm extremely interested to see what you guys think it is, because again, I'm not sure if this is going to be in the theaters or anything. I highly doubt it, considering how low of a budget it seems to have, since they're not even filming on a set. They're just using the actual store. So that's very interesting to me. But anyways, I'm very excited to see this, and I'm more excited for the trailer, just to see what this thing will actually be like. Anyways, let me know what you guys think of this movie in the comments below. Also, be sure to like and subscribe. Also, check out my merch and my Instagram in the description below. And I guess with all that, everybody, that's a wrap on the Spirit Halloween movie.